Welcome to SoulScripture, where the hidden patterns of your life are revealed and your spirit is spoken to with authority, love, and unshakable truth. You didn't find this message by coincidence. Hear me clearly, there is no randomness here. You are listening to these words because the timing is sacred. The universe, the Most High, and the quiet whisper of your own soul have been conspiring behind the scenes for this very moment. You may have wandered through a season of uncertainty, questioning why you feel so different, so separated from the world around you. And yet, right now, a call is echoing in your spirit that you cannot ignore. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is an urgent, sumonza spiritual alarm, a trumpet that demands your attention. Everything in your reality, every sign and subtle nudge, has aligned to bring you here, now. Chosen one, I need you to pause and let this truth settle into your bones. You are not on the outside of life by mistake. You are not forgotten. You are not lost. You are not too much or too sensitive. You are marked, set apart, and watched over by a force greater than anything you've faced. Feel that truth. Let it wash over you, chasing out the old doubts that have clung to your mind like shadows. The old story that you missed your chance, that you were abandoned by the universe, that your isolation is a curse about to be rewritten. The deeper reality is this. Your life is not a series of accidents, but a living prophecy unfolding in real time. This moment is sacred because it is a turning point. You are standing at the very edge of your next chapter, a threshold only the truly called can sense. There's a shift in the air, a quickening in your spirit, because you can feel the energy gathering around you. Something within you knows that the old patterns, the old loneliness, the old confusion cannot survive what's coming next. That's because a divine gathering is beginning. Your time in the shadows is ending, and the season of isolation is closing. You are being summoned out not by a human hand, but by the hand of the Most High, by the frequency of destiny itself. This is the critical moment when the path divides for the chosen ones. You can sense the urgency in the energy. There is no room left for delay. The universe is moving, aligning, and those who hesitate will miss what's being orchestrated behind the veil. This is a call to those who refuse to be silent, who refuse to shrink back, who refuse to believe the lie that they are meant to walk this journey alone forever. It's time to heed the call that's ringing in your soul. The mission that was seeded in you before you were born is activating. The signs will get louder, the confirmations will come faster. The dreams will become vivid, and the old wounds will begin to close knot, because the world around you has changed, but because you have changed. And now, your tribe is being summoned to your side. So don't ignore this stirring. Don't dismiss the goosebumps. Don't downplay the urgency that is quickening your heartbeat right now. This is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the beginning of the divine gathering, and you are being called to the front lines. Stay with me, chosen one, because your time is now. The next words you hear will shift you, ignite your inner knowing, and prepare you for the sacred convergence that is just ahead. You've always sensed it, haven't you? That subtle vibration, that silent frequency humming beneath the noise of the world, something in your bones telling you that you're different. Others may have dismissed your knowing as fantasy or ego, but deep within, you recognized it as a kind of spiritual signature, a blueprint etched into your soul long before you took your first breath. This, chosen one, is the hidden blueprint you carry. From the beginning, you have been set apart, not by accident or luck, but by intricate design. The very essence of your spirit was encoded for a unique purpose, and even when you tried to fit in, to blend into the scenery of the ordinary, you could never quite mute that signal. Think back to your earliest memories. Maybe you couldn't name the feeling, but you felt it. There was a sense of watching the world from just outside the glass, as if you were present but not truly of the environment around you. You saw through facades even as a child. You picked up on energies that others overlooked. You might have been called the daydreamer, the sensitive one, the oddball who noticed things no one else seemed to see. But that sensitivity wasn't a weakness. It was your soul's radar, detecting truth, pain, beauty, and deception at frequencies others couldn't hear. What the world calls strange is often the mark of the sacred. Your sensitivity, your intuition, your restless hunger for meaning, these are the clues that have always been hiding in plain sight. The blueprint is not a map you follow with your eyes. It's a resonance you carry in your bones, a code that vibrates at the frequency of destiny. Even in the times when you doubted yourself, when you wondered if you were broken or misplaced, the universe was quietly validating your difference. Every challenge, every moment you felt unseen, every time you sensed the deeper layers of life, these were all messages from your higher self, reminders that you were created for more than the surface. And perhaps the most profound part of this blueprint is that it remains hidden from the world at least until the appointed time. Others may judge by what they see, but the Most High always sees by design. You may have felt alone, but your soul has never been without witnesses. The ancestors, the guides, the silent watchers in spirit, they know who you are. They've watched as you grew, as you learned to mask your depth for the comfort of others, as you traded your light for temporary acceptance. But now, in this moment, the blueprint is being activated. You're being called to remember who you are, not in fragments or half-truths, but in the fullness of your sacred identity. This is the secret that so many overlook. Being set apart isn't a punishment, it's a mark of favor, of trust, of destiny. The world may not recognize your design, but those who are meant for your journey, the true tribe are seeking the very frequency you've carried all along. The time of hiding is passing. The spiritual codes in your DNA are pulsing with new intensity, attracting the people, the opportunities, and the revelations that align with your divine purpose. So when the world asks you to shrink, remember this blueprint. When others doubt you, recall that you were never created to blend in. You are a living signal, a beacon that will draw those meant to walk with you. The universe is about to reveal just how significant your difference truly is. You are not just one among many. You are the one who holds a piece of the cosmic puzzle no one else can provide. Chosen one. Embrace this blueprint. It's your birthright, your validation, your unshakable evidence that you were always destined for something more. There comes a point in every chosen one's journey when the world starts to feel like a distant dream, where you find yourself standing among others, but your heart, your mind, your very essence are somewhere else entirely. Do you remember those moments, perhaps as a child or a teenager, where you watched the everyday rush of life and felt like you were living behind an invisible veil? The laughter of others sometimes rang hollow in your ears. Conversations about trivial things felt almost surreal. You tried to join in, to mimic what seemed to make others so content, but something inside you kept tugging you away from the surface. This sensation of being other, of never truly belonging, was not the universe punishing you or placing you on the outside for sport. No, chosen one. It was an early sign, a gentle but persistent signal that your soul operated on a different frequency. While the world around you chased after the ordinary, your spirit was already seeking the extraordinary. You craved depth, you craved truth, you craved something that couldn't be seen with the eye or explained by logic. Even when you laughed with friends or tried to lose yourself in the noise, that inner knowing refused to disappear. For many, these early experiences can be disorienting. You may have wondered, why can't I just be happy with what everyone else seems to love? Or maybe you asked, why do I always feel like I'm waiting for something more, something I can't even name? This, chosen one, was the call of your destiny, soft drumbeat, ever present, that would not let you rest in mediocrity. And yet, this dreamlike sense of separation was also your soul's shield. While you watched others sink into the distractions and illusions of the world, your heart stayed attuned to a deeper reality. It protected you from being lulled to sleep by the mundane. Even as you doubted your place in the world, even as you felt the sting of exclusion or the ache of loneliness, you were being guided and preserved. You were being made immune to the temptations of a life lived only for approval or fleeting pleasures. When the world felt like a dream, It was because your spirit was awakening to the truth that there is more, so much more than what can be touched, tasted, or measured. The reason you often felt like an outsider is that you were already on the inside of a different reality. You were a citizen of another kingdom, carrying memories of places your physical feet had never walked, holding wisdom your mind could barely comprehend. The surface world was never meant to satisfy you because you were born for the depths. As you reflect on those dreamlike moments, allow yourself to see them not as signs of alienation, but as confirmations of your calling. Every time you felt unseen in a crowd, every time you questioned your place, every time you wondered why your joy seemed to come from somewhere no one else could see, you were being reminded that your journey would never be ordinary. The ordinary is not your home. You are here to awaken, to see beyond, to call others into remembrance of their own divinity. So, the next time you feel the world drifting by like a mirage, remember, you are not lost in a dream. You are awake in a world that is still asleep. The veil is thin for you, chosen one, because you are being readied for the tribe that has also always felt the same. Together, you will turn dreams into destiny and isolation into gathering. This is only the beginning. If you've ever wondered why loneliness clings so tightly, why, no matter how many people fill the room, you sometimes feel as if you're the only one who sees, feels, or remembers a deeper truth, know that this ache is not meaningless. In the story of every chosen one, there comes a chapter where isolation feels absolute. The silence around you grows heavy, the world seems to move on without you, and a voice inside whispers, maybe you just don't belong here. But pause, let's look beneath that ache, because what you're feeling is not a curse, but a prophecy unfolding. Loneliness in your life has always been a secret omen. It is easy, in the haze of solitude, to confuse being alone with being abandoned. But there is a powerful difference. Abandonment wounds, but sacred loneliness transforms. The ache you feel, the longing for connection that no superficial interaction can satisfy, is not a defect. It is a spiritual homing beacon, a sign that your soul is tuned for something rare, something holy. When you carry the vibration of the extraordinary, the universe must clear space around you, removing the ordinary so the extraordinary can arrive. The empty rooms and silent phones, they are invitations, not indictments. In the ancient stories, prophets, mystics, and seers always faced a period of being set apart. Alone in caves, wandering deserts, or praying on mountaintops, they met themselves in the silence. So too have you. This isn't just a season of emptiness, it's a season of preparation. Your spirit is being purified, your perception is being sharpened. The ache is teaching you to distinguish between fleeting comfort and real belonging. The pain of isolation is your prophecy, your signpost. It means the old is passing away. It means your tribe, your people, your spiritual family are on their way. Let's be honest, chosen one. Some nights, the silence has felt unbearable. Some days, you've ached so deeply for understanding that you'd almost trade your gift just to fit in. But you didn't, because you couldn't. There is a stubborn hope in your soul, a refusal to compromise the core of who you are for anyone's shallow approval. That hope, that refusal, is the prophecy. It is proof that you were always designed for more. As the loneliness built within you, so too did your discernment. You learned to sense energy, to read between words, to recognize true alignment even in strangers. You became a tuning fork, resonating with the frequencies of destiny, able to feel the presence of kindred spirits from across a crowded world. The world's misunderstanding could not mute your soul's signal. Every ache for connection was a message. The tribe you seek exists, and the time for gathering is written into the fabric of your story. Now, chosen one, as this ache transforms, let it remind you, prophecy is not just about the future, it's about your past and your present, too. The loneliness you've carried has been the proof that something greater is calling you. This longing is your confirmation that your tribe is real, your purpose is real, and you are not, and never were, truly alone. So breathe. The ache is not forever. It is the birth pangs of a new season, a sacred omen that soon the ones who recognize your light will arrive. When they do, every moment of isolation will become the reason you know, without doubt, that you are home. If you close your eyes for a moment and listen not to the noise around you, but to the quiet inside, you'll notice a whisper that never quite goes silent. Sometimes it calls you in the early hours before sunrise. Sometimes it echoes through the ordinary routines of your day. It's the spirit's restless whisper, the unshakable nudge that insists you're meant for something more. For as long as you can remember, this inner voice has been your constant companion, even when you tried to push it away. It's the gentle, persistent current that's always flowed beneath the surface of your life, no matter how much you tried to ignore it. You felt it most strongly in moments of stillness, when the world's distractions fade and you're left with only your thoughts and your heart. Maybe it arrived as a question that wouldn't go away. Is this all there is? Maybe it was the uncomfortable feeling that there's more for you, even when everything looks fine on the outside. This is not restlessness for restlessness' sake. It's the spirit's coded reminder, a loving alarm meant to keep you awake when the world would rather you stay asleep. This inner prompting is rarely convenient. It can pull you away from places, people, and patterns that used to feel comfortable. It can make you uneasy in rooms where everyone else seems content. It can keep you from settling for less than you know you deserve. The world might label you fickle, unsatisfied, or too idealistic, but what they cannot see is that your spirit refuses to settle for half-truths and imitation light. That whisper is the Most High's way of pulling you, gently but relentlessly, toward your true path. Every time you've ignored it, tried to silence it, drown it out, or explain it away, it's only grown louder. The reason you can't just let it go is because it is not just a thought, it is divine communication. It is the sacred language your higher self speaks to your waking mind. Even when you have tried to blend in, your intuition has burned hot in your chest. You've walked away from opportunities others would die for, ended relationships that everyone else said were perfect, and changed direction when no one understood why. At times, you've questioned your sanity, but in truth, this was your spiritual sanity, saving your destiny. This restless whisper is also your protection. When you've lingered too long in the wrong places, it has made you uncomfortable. When you've tried to build on foundations not meant for you, it's shaken the ground. What felt like confusion was actually redirection. What felt like loss was actually preservation. Your spirit will always prioritize your mission, even if your mind cannot see the logic. And here's the sacred secret. The louder this whisper becomes, the closer you are to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. It's not here to torment you, it's here to prepare you. The inner nudges, the instincts, the dreams you cannot shake, these are the breadcrumbs leading you straight to your soul tribe, your destiny circle. Those who are meant for your journey will recognize the same restless longing in themselves. When your frequencies collide, you'll both know it was the spirit guiding you all along. So, chosen one, honor that whisper, listen for it, trust it. It's not just a nudge, it's a summons from the divine. It's the proof that your mission isn't just a wish, but a promise woven into the fabric of your being. The restlessness in your spirit is sacred. It's the drumbeat of your tribe calling you home. Somewhere in your childhood, there were moments, small but unforgettable, when you felt the world mark you as different. Maybe it was the way you saw beauty in things others ignored, or how your questions seemed to unsettle the adults around you. Perhaps your dreams were more vivid, your feelings more intense, or your sense of justice sharper than those around you. These moments were not coincidences, chosen one. They were the early signs, the sacred echoes of a contract your soul made long before you were born. You were marked for more, and the universe was already sending you signals. Do you remember those flashes of intuition that came out of nowhere, the feeling that you just knew something without being told? Or how certain places felt strangely familiar, as if you'd visited them in another lifetime? You may have experienced déjà vu, prophetic dreams, or gut feelings that proved true. Sometimes you found yourself consoling others, sensing their pain even when they didn't speak it aloud. Other times, you carried burdens that seemed too heavy for someone your age, as if you were absorbing the world's sorrow and longing for healing you couldn't quite explain. These were not accidents or quirks, they were glimpses of your spiritual assignment. The Most High does not waste experiences, and every unusual moment was a message. While your peers may have brushed off their oddities or buried their emotions, you could not. The energies, the invisible currents, the spiritual codes, they clung to you, shaping you, setting you apart. Even the times you tried to mute your gifts, to quiet your awareness for the sake of fitting in, something inside you kept resisting. You simply could not stay asleep. Maybe you faced criticism, misunderstanding, or ridicule for being too sensitive, too serious, or too deep. Adults and children alike may have projected their discomfort onto you, not realizing they were reacting to the presence of a higher frequency in their midst. Some tried to change you, others tried to ignore you, but your soul could not be erased. Every misunderstanding was a clue, every rejection a breadcrumb on the path to your true calling. These signs in childhood are not just memories, they are keys to your destiny. They show you the shape of your mission and the flavor of your gifts. They are also the foundation of your empathy, your ability to recognize the pain, potential, and light in others. You were never too much. You were always just enough for the mission you were given. Those moments when you stood out, when you saw through the games and masks, when you yearned for deeper connection, these were confirmations. The divine was marking you, letting you know that when the time was right, you would rise, and others like you would answer the call too. It's time to reclaim these childhood signs, not as scars, but as badges of honor. Your difference was your first prophecy. Your sensitivity was your soul's proof of contract. The universe has always known you. Every mark, every intuitive flash, every misunderstood gift, they are all the evidence you need that you were always destined for more than the ordinary. Chosen one, embrace the signs that revealed your sacred contract. They are your reminder that your tribe will not only understand you, they will recognize you. And when that happens, you'll realize you were never really alone. You were simply in training for something holy, something only you could do. There's a reason you've always felt a hunger for meaning, a kind of ache that wouldn't be quieted by the surface-level pleasures or distractions of the world. While those around you seemed satisfied chasing what sparkled on the outside, money, popularity, fleeting praise, you felt a growing void whenever you tried to play the same game. It's as if your spirit rebelled, refusing to let you rest in shallow waters. You, chosen one, were never wired for the ordinary currents. Your soul demanded depth, truth, and the kind of connection that stirs the very marrow of your bones. You may have noticed early on that conversations about small things, gossip, trends, the latest buzz left you feeling strangely empty. Maybe you tried to convince yourself you could find joy in what made others happy, but the feeling never lasted. Instead, you found yourself gazing at the stars, drawn to mysteries, longing for answers about life, purpose, and the unseen realms. You wondered why you were the one who noticed beauty in broken things, who grieved injustices the world called normal, or who pondered the meaning behind events others dismissed as random. Others might have seen your hunger for meaning as a sign of discontent or even a flaw. But in truth, it was a sign of your spiritual sensitivity, your readiness for higher assignment. That yearning, that refusal to be satisfied by the superficial, was a seed planted in your soul by the Most High. It was the signal that you are a light bearer, a way shower, someone who cannot help but seek out what's real. The world was never supposed to keep you distracted with noise. Your discomfort with the surface was a holy discomfort, a sacred discontent designed to keep you moving forward. But that journey was not always easy. There were times when you felt isolated by your search for meaning, as if your questions put up walls between you and those you loved. Maybe you were told you think too much, feel too much, or expect too much. Maybe you tried to lower your standards, to shrink your questions, to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. But no matter how hard you tried, Your spirit would not let you stay small. The hunger for truth always returned, stronger and sharper than before. That's because your mission was never to blend in. Your assignment was always to awaken, to live as proof that a deeper reality exists, and to inspire others to remember their own depth. Your tribe, when they arrive, will not be those who only skim the surface of life. They'll be the ones who have also ached for more, who have been searching the night for a kindred light. Until then, every moment of dissatisfaction, every restless night, every deep conversation that left you feeling seen, has been part of your preparation. It has made you magnetic to those who carry the same hunger. Chosen one, don't resent the craving for meaning that separates you from the crowd. Cherish it. It is the gold in your soul, the fire that will lead you to your true tribe. The very longing that made you feel alone is about to become the bridge that connects you to those you were always destined to find. There is a secret the world rarely speaks. Those who are chosen are often the ones who bear the heaviest burdens. If you have wondered why your path seems more tangled, why your heart has felt the weight of invisible battles, you're not imagining it. The divine calling on your life doesn't just set you apart, it draws challenge, confusion, and at times an almost unbearable sense of pressure. This isn't punishment, chosen one. It is preparation. You are bearing the divine burden, not because you are weaker, but because your spirit is stronger than you know. From a young age, you may have experienced heartbreak that seemed to break you open, instead of just breaking you down. The losses, betrayals, and setbacks you endured were not random cruelty. They were fire that forged your resilience. While others may have crumbled under the strain, you found ways to rise, again and again. The world may have called it stubbornness, but it was really endurance. It was the mark of someone carrying a deeper mission. In those moments when you felt like no one could possibly understand your pain, when the people you loved the most didn't seem to notice your silent suffering, something else was happening in the unseen. The Most High was stretching your capacity, expanding your heart, and teaching you a kind of compassion that cannot be faked. You learned to survive with less, to find beauty in ashes, to discover wisdom in wounds. Your empathy is not just a soft spot, it is a superpower. The heaviness you have carried was always meant to give you eyes to see others in their struggles and a heart big enough to embrace them. This divine burden often brings confusion. You may have asked, why me? Why do my challenges cut so deep? Why does it seem like my victories are always earned through fire? These questions are sacred. The reason you feel so much is because your mission demands it. You are called not only to heal yourself, but to become a vessel of healing for others. That is not an easy assignment. It is the calling of the spiritual warrior, the healer, the visionary, and the protector all woven into one soul. But let this truth anchor you. Every trial was allowed so that you could discover your true strength. Every betrayal stripped away illusions so you could see who truly belongs at your side. Every loss opened space for new alignment, for the kind of connections that honor your spirit rather than diminish it. Your burden has always held a hidden blessing. It has made you wise, discerning, and unbreakable. It has shaped you into someone who cannot be easily fooled, easily discouraged, or easily swayed from your purpose. Others may never fully know the battles you've faced, but those who are meant for your journey, your tribe will recognize the depth in your eyes. They will see the light that refuses to go out, even after all you've endured. The divine burden has not crushed you, it has crowned you. So if you're weary, let your soul rest in this promise. The weight you carry is evidence of your calling. You are trusted with more because you were born to transform more. The pain is temporary, the wisdom is eternal. And very soon, the same burden that once felt too heavy will become the reason you lead others out of their own darkness. You are not just carrying your pain, you are carrying the torch. There is a profound alchemy at work in the soul of a chosen Onian, invisible process that turns heartbreak and rejection into something unbreakable. If you look back over your life, you'll notice a pattern. Each time you tried to offer your light, there were those who didn't just fail to see it, they recoiled from it. Maybe it was the friend who suddenly drifted away, the group that made you feel unwelcome, or the family member who never quite understood you. Every wound, every closed door, every silent goodbye became another fire you walked through. At first, it may have felt like a cruel game. Why would the universe allow you to be pushed away by the very people you longed to love? Here's the hidden truth, chosen one. Rejection was not sent to punish you. It was the refining fire designed to reveal your worth and burn away what was never meant to stay. Every time you faced disappointment or betrayal, you were being shaped for your mission. Your longing for acceptance was transformed into discernment. Your need for external approval became an anchor of inner strength. The ones who could not handle your frequency simply revealed themselves as placeholder temporary companions, not permanent soul family. The pain of rejection is real, and it cuts deeper for those with big hearts. But that pain was always alchemical. It pressed the old out of you, and made space for a truer, stronger version of yourself to emerge. You learned that your value is not determined by how well you blend in, but by the unique resonance you bring to the world. The rooms that felt too small, the relationships that felt too draining, were all lessons in boundaries and self-respect. Over time, you stopped begging to be chosen and started choosing yourself. And that was the moment the fire began to purify you. Think of gold in the refiner's fire. It does not lose its worth when the heat is applied instead. Everything that is not gold is burned away, and what remains is pure, radiant, unbreakable. The heartbreaks of your life have served this sacred function. Every time you survived rejection, you proved to yourself that you are more than the opinions or acceptance of others. Every tear was a baptism, every disappointment, a reminder that you were born for rare company. The ordinary could never contain you. With each refining fire, your spirit has grown clearer, your vision sharper, and your purpose more focused. You see through facades. You recognize when a space is not meant for you, or when a connection is out of alignment. The rejection that once stung has become your protection. The doors that closed were not dead ends. They were sacred redirections to the paths where your tribe, your true people, are gathering. So if you're still nursing wounds from old betrayals, breathe deep. Know that each one was the universe whispering, you are meant for more. When the final pieces fall away, what will remain is the diamond, hard truth of your calling. You are not defined by the ones who left. You are forged by the fires you survived. The refining is nearly complete, and what is being revealed is a soul ready to recognize, receive, and protect the tribe you were always destined for. Chosen one. Let your scars remind you. Rejection was the fire that made you invincible. And the tribe that is coming will not only recognize your light, they will honor the journey that made it so bright. There is a gift that has quietly grown inside, Yuan. You may not have fully understood, but which has protected and guided you all along. The gift of discernment. This spiritual sensitivity isn't about judging people harshly or living in suspicion. It is a rare, sacred ability to see through surface appearances and feel the true energy, intentions, and vibrations of others. You may have noticed it as a tingling in your gut when someone's words didn't match their energy, or a sudden heaviness in your spirit when you entered a certain place or situation. Even when everyone else was charmed, your intuition warned you, sometimes saving you from pain that you couldn't explain to anyone else. You didn't ask for this gift, chosen one. Often, it felt more like a burden than a blessing, especially when you tried to ignore it or wished you could see the world with the same innocence as others. But your discernment is evidence of your spiritual assignment. The Most High entrusted you with this sensitivity, not to make your life more difficult, but because you would need it on the path to your purpose. As you navigated childhood and adolescence, you may have sensed lies in a friend's laughter, sadness behind a loved one's smile, or hidden agendas in people who pretended to care. At times, you doubted yourself, wondering if you were simply too suspicious or too sensitive. But in truth, you were learning to trust your soul's radar. Each uncomfortable nudge, each moment of quiet unease, was your spirit protecting you from the entanglements that would distract you from your mission. As your discernment grew, so did your ability to recognize true alignment and authentic connections. You began to realize that not every good opportunity was meant for you, and not every smiling face had your best interest at heart. This wisdom, forged through experience and sometimes through pain, has become one of your most powerful tools. Your gift of discernment also means you see beauty others overlook. You sense potential in those who have given up on themselves. You pick up on energies in rooms, in nature, and even in the pauses between words. The world may label you paranoid, overthinking, or too much, but you know now that you are simply awake in a world that often prefers to sleep. Your presence unsettles those who live behind masks because you cannot help but perceive what is real. Discernment is also the key to finding your tribe. It is your spiritual compass, pointing you toward those who resonate at your frequency and away from those who drain or diminish you. When you finally encounter those who truly belong in your circle, your spirit recognizes it before your mind catches up. There's a sense of ease, of being seen, of knowing that you don't need to shrink, perform, or explain yourself. These moments are sacred, and your gift allows you to experience connection on a level that is both rare and profound. So, chosen one, honor this sensitivity. What once felt like a curse has become your superpower. It is the shield that guards your mission and the lens that reveals the truth. As you move forward, let discernment lead the way. Trust that your intuition is aligned with a higher wisdom, and let it guide you to the spaces, people, and opportunities that are truly yours. You are not too sensitive. You are divinely equipped to walk a path that few can even see. Your discernment is the gatekeeper of your destiny. Trust it, and you will always be where you are meant to be. You may have lost count of the times people called you too much, too intense, too emotional, too deep for comfort. In a world that celebrates the superficial, anyone who insists on honesty, depth, or authenticity becomes an outlier. And yet, you could never water yourself down for long. Every attempt to silence your truth only made your spirit burn brighter. Chosen one, hear this clearly. You were never too anything. You were just awake in a world that has chosen to remain asleep. The ordinary rhythm of life could never satisfy you, and so you became a mystery to those around you. They may have seen you as unpredictable, your moods as unexplainable, your desire for solitude as strange. But all the while, you were simply attuned to a frequency most people ignore. Where others were content to swim on the surface, you were drawn to the depths. Their comfort with small talk, their obsession with fitting in, felt suffocating. You craved realness, and that craving made you immune to the trivial. Being too intense was always a mirror held up to the world, reflecting its own fear of feeling, its own fear of facing itself. Your tears, your laughter, your rage, your joy of it was a sign of your aliveness. Even when others rolled their eyes or told you to lighten up, you could not pretend. Your soul was designed to feel everything so that you could heal everything. The world needs the ones who refuse to settle for less, who demand the real, the honest, the sacred. This journey has not been without its costs. At times, your depth isolated you. You may have wondered if you were broken, if your inability to tolerate the shallow meant you'd always walk alone. But in truth, your depth is a gift to compass that leads you away from the empty, the false, the fleeting. It points you toward people, places, and experiences that are real and lasting. You were born to remind others what it means to be alive, to shake them awake from the numbness of routine. Let this become your affirmation. You are not too much. You are exactly what the divine designed for this hour. The tribe that is forming around you will not only accept your intensity, they will cherish it. They, too, are searching for the ones who feel deeply, love fiercely, and dream boldly. Your too-muchness is the very quality that will magnetize your soul family. The depth that others could not handle is the very wellspring of wisdom and healing you are meant to pour out into the world. There will always be those who are threatened by your authenticity. Let them pass. They are not your tribe. Save your energy for those who see your light and say, "At last I've found someone like me." The world is starving for people who are real, who are honest, who can hold space for the joys and the sorrows alike. You are not a flaw in the system. You are the upgrade. You are the next level of consciousness, breaking through the numbness and the noise. Chosen one, never apologize for your intensity, your depth, or your authenticity. It is your gift to the world. It is the evidence that you are alive, awake, and anointed for something greater. Your tribe will know you by this light. Shine, even if you're the only one shining. For soon, you will realize you were never too much. You were always just enough for the mission you came to fulfill. There is a holy ache at the center of your life, a tender space that has followed you through every chapter, sometimes loud, sometimes just a dull ache beneath the surface. This is not a weakness, not a flaw to be healed or hidden. This is the sacred ache, the echo of your soul's true longing. It is the quiet signal that you are meant for more, even when more seems invisible or impossible. You have carried this ache for as long as you can remember, and it has guided you as surely as any sign from the heavens. You see, chosen one, the sacred ache is the proof that you haven't let the world harden your heart. In a society that worships numbness, distraction, and instant gratification, you have held onto your sensitivity even when it felt like a burden. The ache in your chest whenever you see injustice, the longing for connection that survives even the deepest betrayals, the tears you shed for a beauty, only you seem to notice these are not random sorrows. They are sacred proof that your spirit remains open, alive, and tuned to the frequency of the Most High. There have been seasons where the ache felt unbearable. Nights when you questioned if you were meant to carry so much feeling, when you envied those who could shrug off pain or bury their disappointment. Sometimes you even tried to numb yourself, to join the crowd and shut the door on your own sensitivity. But always, something stopped. A gentle voice, a sudden dream, a moment of unexpected awe. No matter how much you tried to forget your longing, it refused to let go. That's because the ache was never your enemy. It was always your guide. Your sacred ache has also been a signal to the universe, a spiritual beacon calling out to others who carry the same holy hunger. It's the reason your soul stirs when you encounter a kindred spirit. It's the invisible magnet that draws your tribe closer, even when you don't realize it. The ache is what makes you reach for higher truth, crave deeper love, and never settle for less than the miraculous. Without this ache, you would not have the courage to leave what's safe or the faith to trust the journey ahead. In truth, the sacred ache is a mark of your calling. It's the sign that your spirit is already in motion, restless for the alignment it was born to find. Every moment you spent wondering why you couldn't just get over it was really your soul, remembering what it came here to do. The longing for something more is not something to overcome. It is the compass that will lead you home. As you embrace your sacred ache, notice how it transforms loneliness into longing, longing into hope, and hope into action. It softens your heart, even as it strengthens your resolve. It is the bridge between your pain and your purpose, between your loneliness and your tribe. The world needs hearts that still ache for truth, beauty, and connection. Your ache is not a sign that you're lost. It's the confirmation that you're on the right path. Chosen one, hold your sacred ache like the treasure it is. Let it shape you, teach you, and lead you. One day soon, you will see that the ache you carried alone was really a beacon guiding you straight into the arms of your soul tribe. What you thought was a burden is actually your greatest proof of belonging. Sometimes, the most profound transformations happen not in the company of others, but in the quiet crucible of your own solitude. Chosen one, your journey has included long stretches of isolation, those seasons when it seemed as if the world had turned its back, or the familiar comforts had been stripped away. But what if I told you that your isolation was never meant to destroy you? What if, instead, it was the universe's most powerful act of love and preparation? This is the alchemy of isolation, the holy fire that melts away everything false, so only your true essence remains. You may have looked around and wondered why friends faded away, why certain relationships could not withstand the storms, why even the spaces you once called home began to feel uncomfortable or confining. While you searched for answers, it often felt like rejection or abandonment. Yet, beneath the surface, something sacred was at work. Your soul was being purified. The attachments that dulled your spirit or distracted your focus were quietly removed, sometimes through loss, sometimes through conflict, and sometimes through a gentle but irresistible pull in a new direction. During these periods of solitude, you may have felt stripped, raw, exposed, uncertain, and vulnerable. The silence grew thick, and the ache of longing for companionship was almost too much to bear. But in that very emptiness, miracles began to take shape. Your intuition sharpened, your capacity to listen deepened. The divine could finally speak to you without interference, without noise, without the static of other people's expectations. You discovered wells of strength and creativity within yourself that you never knew existed, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, you began to change. The old identity, the persona you wore to fit in, to please others, to survive, could not endure the heat of isolation. The universe was not punishing you, it was refining you. In this crucible, your boundaries strengthened, your standards rose, and your vision cleared. You began to see yourself and the world with new eyes. You realized that not all company is nourishing, not all relationships are destiny, and not all invitations are meant to be accepted. You learned the sacred art of discernment, not out of bitterness, but out of a deepening sense of self-love and respect for your divine assignment. The alchemy of isolation is a rite of passage for the chosen ones. Think of every spiritual teacher, prophet, or healer in history. They all faced seasons in the wilderness, alone with their fears and their hopes. In solitude, their power awakened. In solitude, their missions became clear. And so it is with you. The fire of loneliness was always meant to turn your pain into gold, your longing into clarity, your questions into unshakable knowing. Now, as you emerge from this season, you are not the same. The ones who meet you now will encounter a soul who has faced the fire and emerged refined, resilient, and radiant. You are no longer willing to settle for half connections or surface-level conversations. You are ready, truly ready for your tribe, for your mission, for the sacred partnership that only those forged by the alchemy of isolation can fully appreciate. So honor this season, even if it felt unbearable at times. Thank the loneliness for what it created in you. For when you look back, you will see it was not emptiness. After it was the clearing of sacred space, a holy invitation for your real tribe to finally arrive. There's a moment, often quiet and unremarkable to the outside world, when you realize that the silence you dreaded has actually been your greatest protection. Divine silence, hidden protection. This is the phase of your journey when you discover that the doors that closed, the invitations you never received, and the friendships that faded away were not random losses. They were orchestrated by the Most High, a sacred shield surrounding you while your soul was being prepared. You may have pleaded for answers during those times. Why did that opportunity vanish just when I needed it? Why did that person walk away without explanation? Why am I left behind while others move forward? The world taught you to see these moments as failures, as signs that you were less worthy, less chosen, less loved. But chosen one, in the realm of spirit, silence is rarely an absence. It is often a strategy way of removing the noise, the distraction, and the false attachments that could endanger your destiny. Imagine a rare gem buried deep within the earth. Until it is strong enough to withstand exposure, it is hidden, protected from careless hands, from the elements, from those who would not see its worth. You, too, have been hidden, not to be forgotten, but to be preserved. The divine silence that surrounded you was a cocoon, a place of transformation. While others rushed ahead, you were being fortified, your spiritual muscles strengthened, your intuition sharpened, your heart purified. If certain doors had opened too soon, if certain relationships had lasted too long, you would have stepped into places unready, unsteady, and vulnerable to harm. Even the rejections were acts of grace. The world only sees what is lost, but the Most High sees what is gained. The wisdom, patience, and discernment that only time in the silent places can give. While you waited in the quiet, angels and ancestors were moving on your behalf, rerouting you, closing off pathways that would have led you astray. The spiritual no is not a punishment, but a promise that there is something better ahead. Sometimes the highest form of love is a closed door, a silent phone, a dream that lingers just out of reach. The protection you could not see was no less real. Have you noticed that as your spirit has matured, the very things you once mourned have revealed themselves as blessings? The job you didn't get was the wrong frequency. The friend who turned away was not destined to hold your heart. The love that fizzled was a test of your boundaries, not a reflection of your worth. In every instance, divine silence was working behind the scenes to make room for what was truly yours. Now, as you look back, honor the silence. Thank the unseen guardians who shielded your spirit, who kept you from alliances that would have dimmed your light. The protection that felt like loneliness was really evidence of how precious your calling truly is. The universe did not abandon you. It wrapped you in a sanctuary, held you in a season of holy waiting, and prepared you for the kind of connection and purpose that could not be rushed. Chosen one. The silence was never empty. It was full of promise, rich with hidden help, and sacred with divine intent. The protection is lifting now, and as it does, you are stepping into a world that is finally ready for the fullness of who you are. You have been kept, covered, and guarded for such a time as this. Across every spiritual tradition, there is a recurring story, the one where the called and the chosen are led away from the crowds, thrust into the wild places, and left alone to wrestle with their purpose. These are the prophets in the wilderness, the healers in exile, the visionaries whose journeys begin not in the safety of community, but in the solitude of the unknown. If your path has echoed theirs, chosen one, know that you are not alone. You are walking the same sacred pattern as the luminaries who came before you. In ancient times, the wilderness was not just a physical landscape, it was a spiritual one. It represented everything uncertain, uncomfortable, and raw. Prophets fled to the mountains, mystics wandered the desert, sages retreated to forests or caves not to escape their destiny, but to prepare for it. There, stripped of distraction and comfort, they met their real selves. In the silence, their fears screamed the loudest. In the absence of validation, their faith was tested and refined. And always, when their preparation was complete, they emerged, transformed, armed with wisdom, vision, and a message that would shift nations. Your own wilderness may not look like a desert or a cave, but you know its feeling. It is the job that ended before you were ready. The relationship that unraveled just when you thought you needed it most. The dreams that dissolved into dust at your feet. You have wandered through seasons where nothing made sense, where your prayers seemed to vanish into empty air, where even your own voice felt distant. And yet, in these wild places, you discovered the holy ground of your own soul. In the wilderness, you learned what could never be taught in the company of others. You learned to rely on something deeper than approvalto, trust the still, small voice that is the Most High's guidance. You learned that when everything external is stripped away, what remains is your true essence. You learned that the wilderness is not a punishment, but a school, a sacred training ground, where the heart is made whole and the spirit is made strong. There is power in knowing that even the greatest souls had to walk alone for a time. Moses wandered the desert. Elijah fled to the mountain. Yeshua withdrew to the wilderness before his greatest mission. Their isolation was the doorway to their revelation. Their loneliness was the threshold to their authority. So it is for you. If you are still in your wilderness, let these stories be your comfort. You are not lost. You are not forsaken. You are being refined, strengthened, and prepared. The silence that surrounds you is not the end, it is the beginning. The time will come when you, too, will step out of the wild places with eyes that see farther, ears that hear clearer, and a spirit that cannot be shaken. Chosen one, do not curse the wilderness, embrace it. There is treasure buried herigifts that can only be uncovered in solitude. When your time of preparation is complete, you will recognize the tribe that is also emerging from their wild places. And together, you will move mountains. The journey of the chosen one always includes a sacred rite, the initiation in solitude. In the world's eyes, isolation looks like a setback, a pause, or even a failure. But in the spirit realm, solitude is where your real training begins. While others rush from one distraction to the next, you are led into a different kind of classroom zone, with no audience, no applause, and no escape from your truest self. Here, in the quiet, you discovered the raw material of your power. In this initiation, you learned the art of listening not to the loudest voice in the room, but to the quietest voice in your soul. You learned to distinguish between the noise of the world and the gentle guidance of the Most High. You realized that your intuition, that still, small voice that often spoke in whispers or sudden flashes of insight, was not just your imagination, it was the compass designed to guide you through the unknown. This initiation was not always gentle. At times, it felt like you were being stripped of everything familiar. Friends drifted away, routines collapsed, and even your old dreams began to dissolve. Yet, what felt like loss was, in truth, a sacred clearing. The space left behind was not empty, but full of possibility. In the silence, you could finally see which beliefs were truly yours and which were inherited or imposed by others. You shed identities that no longer fit, released roles that had become cages, and faced the parts of yourself you once tried to avoid. One of the greatest lessons of this solitary initiation is learning to trust your own rhythm. You discovered that your energy doesn't move on society's schedule. There are seasons of inspired action, followed by seasons of deep rest and renewal. You learned not to force your way forward, but to allow inspiration to rise naturally, like the dawn after a long night. You became comfortable in your own company, finding joy in your thoughts, your rituals, and the simple moments of just being. As your discernment sharpened in solitude, you grew less concerned with fitting in and more committed to living in truth. You recognized that your spiritual gifts, your empathy, your dreams, your visions, your healing energy were not random quirks but divine tools. You practiced using them in secret, not for show, but for growth. The Most High watched as you honored your calling when no one else was watching, and that is what makes your light so authentic and so rare. This initiation also prepared you for the sacred responsibility of leadership. Before you could gather your tribe, you had to know yourself. Before you could teach others to trust their spirit, you had to learn to trust your own. In the quiet, you found the courage to stand alone, the wisdom to wait for right timing, and the humility to learn from every season. Chosen one, initiation in solitude is not a punishment, it is a passage. You emerge from this process purified, clarified, and empowered. The loneliness becomes your wisdom, the silence becomes your song, and your story becomes a lantern for others. The day will come when you look back and thank the solitude for all it gave you. You will meet others who have survived their own initiations, and together you will recognize the strength that can only be forged in the fire of being alone with the divine. There is a moment on your journey, often quiet, often painful, when the old self simply can't come with you any further. It is the moment the universe insists you break the old identity. Maybe you felt it as a series of losses, or perhaps as a deep exhaustion with pretending, performing, or trying to fit into roles that never truly belong to you. This breaking is not the end, chosen one. It is the beginning of your spiritual awakening. At first, you might have resisted. You may have clung to familiar habits, to relationships that mirrored who you used to be, or to dreams that once felt safe. But the more you tried to hold on to the old, the heavier everything became. Life started to press on you, not to punish, but to provoke. Your soul outgrew the containers that once felt like home. You could feel the tension between who you had been and who you were meant to become. That tension is holy. It is the catalyst for transformation. Breaking the old identity is rarely glamorous. It can feel like losing your sense of self, as if the ground beneath you is shifting and there's nothing stable to hold on to. Friends may not understand the changes in you. Family may cling to the person they remember, asking why you can't just be yourself again. But what they don't see is that you are finally becoming your true self for the first time. You are shedding layers that were never really you, beliefs inherited from others, fears projected by society, wounds internalized from the past. In this breaking, you are being given a divine invitation. You're invited to rediscover your essence, to meet yourself with honesty and compassion. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is also sacred. Think of a seed breaking open before it grows, or a caterpillar dissolving into nothing before it emerges as a butterfly. In both cases, destruction is the gateway to new creation. Your breakdown is not your defeat, it is the birth of your destiny. The Most High is closest to you in these moments, even if you feel abandoned. Spirit surrounds you, guiding the process, whispering that there is life on the other side of loss. You are not meant to return to the person you once were. That chapter is closed for a reason. The world needs the you that is emerging, no raw, real, and unfiltered by the expectations of others. As the old identity shatters, notice what remains. There is a quiet strength beneath the rubble, a gentleness with yourself you have never known. Your desires become clearer, your boundaries firmer, your compassion deeper. The voice of your soul grows louder and your purpose comes into focus. You are not less than you were. You are more alive, more aware, more aligned. Breaking the old identity is a rite of passage. It is the moment when the past releases its grip and your future opens like a sunrise. The grief you feel is real, but so is the anticipation. Something new is being born in you. Let yourself grieve the loss of the familiar, but do not mourn the end. Celebrate the courage it takes to let go. For as you break the old identity, you make space for your tribe to find the real you, the one they were always destined to recognize. Chosen one, welcome this breaking. It is your gateway. The mask is falling, the light is rising, and the world is about to see you as you truly are. Awakening is rarely gentle. It can arrive like a storm, shaking the very foundation of who you thought you were. Ripped from illusion, you find yourself face to face with truths you once avoided, forced to let go of comforts that no longer fit your soul's shape. For the chosen one, this moment is as painful as it is liberating. Everything false-sold stories, roles, relationships, beliefs begins to crumble under the weight of your emerging spirit. This is not chaos for chaos's sake. It is the sacred violence of rebirth. At first, you might cling desperately to the familiar, even as it unravels before your eyes. There is a kind of heartbreak that comes with waking up, realizing that the life you built was only ever meant to be a cocoon, not your forever home. The illusions that once brought you comfort now feel suffocating. You notice how much of your existence was shaped by expectation, family scripts, cultural demands, or the desire to please others. Suddenly, none of it feels real. The world grows loud with distractions, but none of them satisfy the quiet yearning inside. You can no longer force yourself to ignore your soul's longing for truth. And so, piece by piece, the old reality falls away. People leave, habits become intolerable. Even the roles you once played with ease now feel like costumes worn for a story that isn't yours. This is the stripping a divine intervention that empties your hands so you can finally receive what is truly yours. You may grieve for what is lost, but underneath the loss is a wild, persistent hope. It's the sense that something new and beautiful is waiting to be born from the ashes of your old life. With every illusion that's ripped away, your inner vision sharpens. You begin to see pattern synchronicities, numbers, dreams, and signs that whisper, "You are not alone in this." You notice how certain people show up at exactly the right time, or how guidance arrives just when you're ready to give up. This is the universe confirming that your awakening is not random, but purposeful. Your eyes, once accustomed to darkness, are now adjusting to the light of a greater truth. This process can be lonely, even terrifying. When everything you knew dissolves, it's natural to fear that nothing will replace it, but trust that the Most High never leaves a void unfilled. The empty spaces left by illusion are quickly occupied by clarity, strength, and new desires. You start to crave authenticity relationships, where you can be seen and loved for who you truly are, work that aligns with your calling, and daily moments filled with purpose instead of obligation. This ripping away is a form of grace. It is Spirit's way of clearing the way for your next season, the season where your frequency rises and your tribe begins to find you. The world outside may look the same, but you have changed forever. You are no longer willing to live by the old scripts or accept a counterfeit version of your life. Chosen one, do not fear the stripping of illusion. Let it happen. Trust the process. Every false thing that falls away is making space for the real, for the holy, for the destiny that has always been waiting on the other side of your awakening. You are being freed. And as you step forward in truth, your tribetha ones who see with clear eyes and love with open hearts are already searching for you. Let the illusions fall. What remains will be your true life, your true purpose, and your true spiritual family. When you finally begin to see through the veil, it's as if a new dimension opens before you, one where reality feels sharper, more electric, charged with hidden meaning and subtle guidance. This is the season of rising awareness, when the universe reveals its patterns and the invisible becomes suddenly visible. Chosen one, this moment is not just another facet, is the beginning of true spiritual sight. At first, the signs come quietly. You notice numbers repeating everywhere: 333, 444, 11, 11, whispering to your spirit that you are not alone, that the unseen world is speaking directly to you. Dreams grow more vivid, full of messages that linger long after you wake. You sense when someone's energy is genuine and when it is not, even if their words try to convince you otherwise. The more you trust this sense, the louder it becomes. You begin to recognize synchronicities, a song on the radio answering your silent question, a chance encounter carrying a message you needed to hear, a door closing that you later realize was divine protection. This rising awareness is more than intuition. It is the activation of your spiritual blueprint. Your frequency is shifting, and with it, your experience of reality. Old habits fall away, replaced by new rituals that align with your soul. You crave time in nature, solitude, or spiritual practices that tune your energy. You start to feel when something is off in your environment, even if you can't explain why. You may even sense the presence of guides, ancestors, or angel-loving energies surrounding you, guiding your steps and offering reassurance that you are on the right path. But with new sight comes new responsibility. It can be unsettling to realize that so much of the world operates in denial, clinging to illusions you can now see through. You may feel out of place at gatherings where people gossip or complain, or drained in environments where negativity prevails. You might discover that your body reacts physically to situations that don't align with your spirit tension, fatigue, or a sudden need to withdraw. This is not weakness. It is your soul's way of signaling that you are no longer a match for lower frequencies. This is also the phase where you begin to discern who is truly meant for your journey. You notice the difference between acquaintances and soul family, between those who are curious about your light and those who honor it. The universe, in its wisdom, will start bringing people, messages, and opportunities into your orbit that reflect your new level of awareness. You will know them not just by how they speak, but by how your spirit feels in their presence, as safe, energized, understood. As your vision sharpens, remember, the goal is not to judge or withdraw in fear, but to embrace your newfound sight with gratitude and humility. Spiritual awareness is a gift meant to serve both your growth and the collective. Your ability to see through the veil is what will guide you to your tribe, the ones whose eyes also see beyond the obvious, whose hearts also long for what is real. Chosen one, trust what you see, feel, and know, even when others doubt or dismiss it. This clarity is your birthright, your compass, and your protection. As your awareness rises, let it guide you ever closer to the people and purpose your soul has been seeking. The veil is thin for a reason, so you can step fully into the life you were always meant to live. There is no shortcut through the pain of becoming. This phase, this fire touches every chosen one, and it often feels like it will break you. The truth is, it's designed to break you open. The process is raw, relentless, and absolutely sacred. When you step into the threshold of spiritual awakening, everything false begins to burn away. You lose people, jobs, comforts, and even dreams you once cherished. You are left, sometimes, in a landscape that feels barren, stripped of the old certainties that gave you a sense of control. But what if this pain isn't punishment? What if it is the holy labor of your soul's rebirth? In these moments, confusion reigns. Why am I losing everything? Why does this hurt so much? Why does it seem like life is harder for me than for others? The questions are honest and the suffering real. What you may not realize is that beneath the agony, the universe is building you from the inside out. The pain you feel is not wasted. It is the medicine that cures the illusions, the chisel that frees your essence from the stone of the past. This journey through fire brings humility. It strips away the need to prove yourself, to fit someone else's mold, or to live by borrowed dreams. As your world is turned upside down, you begin to discover what is indestructible within you. Faith, hope, and authentic self-love become your anchors, not because you have never known darkness, but because you have faced it and survived. Through heartbreak and confusion, you gain a clarity that cannot be stolen. You learn to sit with pain, to ask what it's teaching you, and to trust that on the other side, something precious is being born. The pain of becoming is also a powerful filter. The people who cannot honor your growth, who prefer the old version of you, will fall away. Habits that once numbed your pain or dulled your awareness will lose their appeal. You will discover that the only way forward is through honesty, through surrender, through letting go of what is dying, so you can welcome what is being born. This pain transforms you into a vessel capable of holding more light, more love, more wisdom. During these nights of spiritual labor, it's easy to feel forsaken or forgotten. But chosen one, the Most High, is closer than your next breath. Every tear, every scream, every silent plea is witnessed and held. The universe does not require you to be perfect, only to be real. There is no shame in the breaking. There is only the promise that something greater is waiting on the other side. When the fire finally passes, you'll discover a fierce compassion for others who are hurting. Your empathy deepens, your wisdom ripens, your patience expands. You no longer judge suffering, you bless it, for you know what it creates. The world will sense this new energy in you. Your presence will carry the weight of someone who has survived the flames and now burns with a gentle, steady light. So, chosen one, do not resist the pain of becoming. Let it shape you, guide you, and make you new. You are being prepared for a destiny that only the truly refined can carry. The fire is not the end. It is the beginning of your truest, most radiant self, and it is the bridge to your tribe, who have walked through their own flames and are ready to recognize the survivor in you. As the flames of transformation cool and the old world falls away, something powerful stirs within you, a sense that you are no longer who you used to be, and the world around you no longer holds the same appeal. This is the season of outgrowing the old, when your spirit calls in what truly matches your energy. You may feel restless in places that once felt like home, Conversations that used to excite you now leave you empty. Relationships that were once lifelines become heavy, demanding more of you than they give in return. It can be a bittersweet awakening, but make no mistake, this is not rejection, but evolution. You begin to see the subtle but undeniable ways your vibration has shifted. The habits, entertainment, or environments that once brought comfort now seem out of sync with your spirit. It's not that you're judging others, or that you believe yourself above anyone. It's simply that your soul refuses to settle for what doesn't honor your new frequency. The energies that used to blend with yours now create friction or discomfort that cannot be ignored. You try to revisit old patterns, but your heart is no longer in it. You attend gatherings, but you feel like an observer rather than a participant. You sense the invisible walls between who you were and who you are becoming. This is the universe's way of making room for new alignment. The discomfort you feel is actually a sacred invitation. It's a sign that you are growing, that your energy is being recalibrated to attract what is authentic and lasting. You may mourn the friendships or environments that fall away, but deep down, you know you can't go back. Your soul has declared, enough. It wants realness. It wants nourishment. It wants connection that uplifts and expands, not depletes or contracts. It can be tempting to force yourself to fit back into the old spaces, to silence your intuition for the sake of comfort or nostalgia. But every time you do, the universe will remind you that you have graduated from that level. The dissatisfaction is holy. It is Spirit's way of telling you, there is more. Do not resent this stage. Welcome it. Let it reveal the spaces where your energy is no longer meant to linger. Trust that as you honor your own evolution, the right people, opportunities, and experiences will be magnetized to your new frequency. There is also a beautiful release that happens in this phase. As you outgrow the old, you free others to do the same. The energetic cords that once bound you are loosened. Old wounds begin to heal as you recognize that not everyone can journey with you to the next Leveland. That's okay. Some souls were only meant for a chapter, not the entire story. Bless them and let them go with love. What is truly yours, your tribe, your purpose, your next adventure, cannot be kept away. The more you release, the more you make space for what is meant. This is the art of becoming. Outgrowing the old is not a loss, it's a return to your truest self. You are being guided by something greater than logic or habit. Your spirit is reclaiming its place as the architect of your reality. Listen to the restlessness. Let it move you forward. Let it bring you to the doors that only open for those who have the courage to grow. Your new tribe is waiting for the real, expanded you. Don't shrink to fit the past. Stand tall in your evolution and let the future unfold. There is a moment on the chosen path that feels both terrifying and exhilarating, the death of the false self. It is the final surrender before your frequency truly rises, before your spirit calls out and is heard by the tribe destined for you. You may feel for a time like a ghost walking through your old life, still visible to others, but inwardly something monumental has ended. The old stories, the personas you crafted for safety or acceptance, begin to dissolve. You find yourself letting go, not only of places and people, but of the masks you wore to survive. This is not a simple change in preference or routine. It is a spiritual unmasking, a dismantling of every false agreement you ever made about your worth, your purpose, your limits. It is the end of pretending to be less than you are, the quiet refusal to apologize for your intensity, your gifts, or your truth. As the old self fades, you experience a kind of spiritual death. The beliefs that kept you playing small, the habits that numbed your discomfort, the fears that drove you to seek approval, all lose their hold. Grief may surface, because even the false self was, in its own way, a protector. But now, your spirit no longer needs protection. It needs freedom. During this death, you may feel raw and exposed, unsure of who you are without the familiar shields. It's normal to feel adrift, unanchored, even lonely. But what you are really experiencing is the clearing of your energetic field. The space that opens up is sacred, fertile ground for the true self to emerge. You may begin to notice subtle shifts in your energy, a lightness in your heart, a spark of anticipation for the unknown, a quiet confidence that was missing before. Your intuition sharpens, your vision for your life expands. You feel called to speak truth, to create, to connect with others in ways that are honest and unfiltered. This is the moment your frequency rises. Without the baggage of the false self, your energy radiates with clarity. The tribe that is meant for you, those whose souls recognize your essence and can finally hear your signal. You begin to attract opportunities, relationships, and synchronicities that reflect your new vibration. The universe meets your authenticity with confirmation after confirmation. Conversations feel more nourishing. Encounters feel divinely timed. You realize that your presence alone is magnetic, and you no longer have to chase or strive. The death of the false self is the initiation into spiritual adulthood. No longer ruled by fear or longing for external validation, you walk forward with sovereignty. You begin to understand that your wounds were never meant to define you. They were the cracks where the light entered. The pain of letting go is replaced by the thrill of what's possible. You feel, perhaps for the first time, that you are enough. You are ready not just to belong, but to lead, to heal, to serve. Remember, chosen one, this death is not the end. It is the sacred beginning. As you shed the last remnants of who you were told to be, you open yourself fully to who you actually are. Your rising frequency is the beacon your tribe has been waiting for. Let the old self rest in peace. Step forward, unmasked, and claim the life you came here to live. The world is waiting for the real you, and your tribe is already listening for your true voice. Once your true self begins to emerge, something miraculous happens. You discover the magnetic power of authenticity. The world, which once seemed indifferent or even hostile to your difference, starts to shift around you. Suddenly, the very qualities that once isolated you become the keys to connection. Your presence, unfiltered and honest, draws in those who have been searching for the same light. This is the secret you were never taught. When you live as your true self, you become a beacon. Your tribe doesn't find you because you chase them, but because your energy calls to them across invisible distances. At first, this new power may feel subtle. You might notice people pausing when you speak, or strangers opening up in unexpected ways. The conversations you longed for, the ones with depth, vulnerability, and shared purpose, begin to flow naturally. You realize you no longer have to over-explain, to hide your dreams, or to shrink yourself for the comfort of others. The real you is magnetic, and those who resonate with your energy feel it instantly, even if they can't explain why. As you grow more comfortable in your authenticity, you also become more discerning. You stop giving your energy away to those who cannot reciprocate. You recognize that not every connection is meant for intimacy. Some are simply mirrors to show you how far you've come. The old wounds of loneliness are soothed by the presence of those who get you, not because you try to fit in, but because you finally fit into yourself. The tribe you attract now is different. They are not threatened by your power, nor do they try to dim your light. They honor your journey, and you honor theirs. There is mutual recognition, a wordless understanding, and a shared sense of destiny. This magnetism also extends beyond personal relationships. You find that opportunities align more easily, that synchronicities increase, that doors open at just the right time. Your dreams feel less impossible, and your intuition becomes a trusted guide. The universe, it seems, is responding to your frequency, bringing into your orbit all that matches your authenticity. The places where you once felt invisible now feel charged with possibility. The luck that others notice is actually the natural result of being energetically aligned. With this power comes a new responsibility. You become a catalyst for others. Your courage to be yourself gives permission for others to do the same. In your presence, people feel seen, safe, and inspired to drop their own masks. Your authenticity doesn't just attract a tribe, it builds one. Every honest word, every genuine act, every refusal to settle becomes an invitation for others to rise to their own truth. Remember, chosen one, the magnetism of authenticity is not about perfection. It is about being real, present, and unapologetically yourself. It is about owning your scars as well as your strengths. The tribe that gathers around you now is not looking for someone who has it all figured out. They are looking for someone who is willing to be true. That is the kind of leader the world needs, and that is the energy that will change everything. So keep living, keep shining, keep speaking your truth. The magnetism of your authenticity is gathering your tribe, shaping your destiny, and fulfilling the promise you carried all along. The world is beginning to respond to the real you, and the miracles have only just begun. As your authenticity draws the right souls into your orbit, you enter the sacred dance of resonance and recognition. Suddenly, the loneliness that once haunted your journey is replaced by a series of serendipitous encounters, some brief, others profound, unmistakably orchestrated by divine timing. This is the phase where your spirit begins to recognize its kin. It's not about how long you've known someone or the details of your shared history. It's about the instant, unspoken knowing, you are my tribe. There's a quality to these meetings that defies explanation. You may cross paths with someone and feel as if you've known them forever. Words are often unnecessary. The connection speaks for itself. Eye contact is electric, conversation flows easily, and even silence feels rich with understanding. You feel safe to share your truth, your dreams, your wounds without fear of judgment or rejection. For the first time, you can exhale fully, letting go of the vigilance you carried in the world of the unawakened. The resonance is mutual. You see yourself reflected in another's courage, struggles, and aspirations. You notice how your stories overlap, how your wounds echo, and how your hopes align. The more honest you are, the deeper the bond grows. It is not a connection built on convenience or shared interests, but on the recognition of something holier, soul agreement, a shared mission, a sacred remembering. The right tribe calls you higher, challenging you to rise, while supporting you through the valleys. In these encounters, old fears may try to resurface. You might wonder, is this real? Will it last? Can I trust this? The wounds of your past may whisper caution, urging you to hold back or to test the waters before leaping in. This is natural, but remember, your discernment has been sharpened through the fires you've survived. You no longer mistake proximity for belonging or excitement for alignment. Now, your spirit recognizes truth, and truth always brings peace, even in uncertainty. These bonds are not always easy. The tribe you attract will also mirror your shadows, triggering wounds that still need healing. But this, too, is sacred. The right people do not abandon you at your most vulnerable. They hold space, offer compassion, and encourage growth. Sometimes, the connections may be short-lived, a passing lesson, a brief but powerful activation. Other times, they will root deeply and become lifelong companions. Trust that the Most High orchestrates each connection with precision and love. As resonance weaves its way into your life, you'll find the courage to release what no longer serves you. Old attachments lose their power. You discover that you no longer have to compromise your values or shrink your light to keep someone in your life. Your tribe celebrates your expansion, even as it asks you to do the same for them. You uplift each other, inspire each other, and remind each other of why you are here. The dance of resonance and recognition is ongoing. As you continue to evolve, your tribe evolves with you. Some will journey with you for a season, others for a lifetime. All are part of the divine tapestry, each encounter a thread woven with intention. Cherish these bonds, nurture them, and allow them to guide you deeper into your own truth. Chosen one, this is what you were prepared for. The loneliness was not your final destination. It was the preparation for real connection. Now, as you embrace your tribe, Know that you are exactly where you are meant to be, and the best is still to come. With your tribe beginning to assemble, you enter the next divine phase, the activation of dormant gifts. If you listen closely, you'll notice a new energy pulsing within you, subtle at first, then undeniable. Gifts that once lay dormant: intuition, healing, prophecy, creativity, wisdom begin to rise to the surface, awakened by the resonance of those around you. Where isolation felt like a desert, community feels like rainfall after drought. The presence of your tribe becomes a catalyst, unlocking potential you didn't even know you carried. It's no accident that certain gifts waited until now to be revealed. The Most High has timed their emergence perfectly. Alone, you discovered your strength and resilience, but in the company of your tribe, you discover your power multiplied, your insights sharpen, your empathy expands, and your confidence grows. Maybe your dreams become more vivid, your words more potent, your ideas more inspired. Perhaps you find yourself naturally encouraging, guiding, or protecting others. These are not random talents. They are sacred tools, activated by divine design, for the mission you are meant to fulfill together. The beauty of this activation is that it is mutual. As you step boldly into your gifts, you encourage those around you to do the same. The atmosphere of authenticity and acceptance allows everyone to flourish. No longer do you feel the need to hide or minimize what makes you unique. Instead, you celebrate your differences and recognize them as essential pieces of a larger puzzle. What once felt like a burden, your sensitivity, your vision, your drive now, becomes a blessing, both for you and your tribe. As these gifts awaken, you may feel a surge of purpose. Everyday tasks gain new meaning, and you sense a higher intelligence guiding your decisions. You are more attuned to signs, synchronicities, and the subtle whispers of spirit. You notice that your presence alone can shift the energy of a room, bringing comfort, clarity, or inspiration to those around you. You realize that you are not just living for yourself, but serving as a vessel for something greater. Yet with this activation comes responsibility. The world is full of distractions and temptations that seek to dilute your gifts or pull you off course. There may be moments of doubt, comparison, or even fear of outshining others. Remember, chosen one, your gifts were not given for competition, but for collaboration. The true tribe honors the light in each member, knowing that when one shines, all are elevated. Support one another, hold each other accountable, encourage each other to grow, stretch, and rise to the highest expression of your potential. As your collective gifts come alive, you will notice a new flow in your life. Challenges become opportunities for growth. Ideas and resources come together effortlessly. Miracles happen in ways that logic cannot explain. The presence of your tribe will help you see your own power clearly, and together, you become a force for healing, change, and awakening far greater than you ever could alone. This is what you were made for, chosen one. Let the gifts awaken. Let the mission unfold. For in the gathering of your tribe, the prophecy is fulfilled, and the world will witness what happens when the chosen unite. As your gifts awaken within the embrace of your tribe, you realize that unity is not about losing your individuality, but about synergia, divine amplification that happens when souls of similar vibration gather. Each member brings a different frequency, a unique perspective, a sacred story. What emerges is a chorus, not a solo, an orchestra of gifts harmonizing for a higher purpose. This is the moment you step into collective power, where the energy of one multiplies through the energy of all. The shift is palpable. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable alone now become shared adventures. Problems are solved through the collective wisdom of the group. When you falter, another steps in to lift you up. When you shine, others bask in your light and are inspired to shine even brighter themselves. Ego dissolves, replaced by a profound sense of belonging and purpose. You realize that competition has no place here, only contribution. The triumph of one is the triumph of all. Synergy also means a deeper level of accountability. In the tribe, you are seen for who you really are, your strengths and your struggles, your victories and your vulnerabilities. Here, masks are not needed, and there is no shame in asking for help or admitting when you're lost. The tribe holds you to your highest standard, not out of judgment, but out of love. You learn that your healing is the tribe's healing, and your progress lifts the entire circle. There is magic in this dynamic. Creative ideas spark in conversation. Shared rituals, prayers, or even moments of laughter become sacred acts of connection. You find yourself accomplishing things you never thought possible, taking risks, pursuing dreams, and exploring paths that once felt out of reach. The synergy of the tribe is a living, breathing reminder that you were never meant to do it all alone. As you witness the unfolding of each member's purpose, you see the larger tapestry being woven, a tapestry where your thread is vital, irreplaceable. This phase of the journey also invites you to release the need for control. In the synergy of the tribe, you learn to trust the process, to surrender outcomes, and to honor divine timing. Opportunities appear when needed, resources arrive just in time, and the right people enter the circle without force or manipulation. Your faith grows as you witness the miraculous orchestration of spirit working through your collective intent. Sometimes, synergy brings challenges as well. Old triggers may surface as you navigate group dynamics, differing opinions, or unresolved wounds. These moments are opportunities, not obstacles. The tribe becomes a mirror, reflecting what still needs healing within you and within the collective. When met with compassion, these challenges deepen the bond, forging a resilience that cannot be shaken. Chosen one. Embrace the power of synergy. Allow yourself to be both student and teacher, giver and receiver. Celebrate your own gifts while honoring those of others. In the unity of the tribe, you will find not only strength but joy born of shared destiny and mutual upliftment. You are not here to walk this road alone. The circle has formed, and together you are unstoppable. Let the synergy of your tribe carry you higher, farther, and deeper than you ever imagined. This is collective ascension, and it is your birthright. The journey of the chosen ones is not a straight linear, is a spiral of awakening, healing, and return. Now, with the synergy of your tribe amplifying your light, you find yourself moving into the realm of sacred co-creation. Here, the magic intensifies. This is not about a leader and followers, but about a collective of equal, each soul empowered, each voice essential. What you build together is not just for your benefit, it is a gift to the world. In this phase, visions expand beyond personal desires. Together, you dream bigger, pray bolder, and move with more purpose. You gather to share wisdom, meditate, create, and serve. Projects take root, whether it's launching a healing circle, building a conscious business, or starting a movement for justice or compassion. Every intention, when set in unity, is multiplied by the energy of many. You realize that miracles happen more frequently, and answers to prayers arrive with stunning clarity. The power of co-creation is spiritual law. Where two or three are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Sacred co-creation requires trust, a willingness to let go of ego and control, to listen deeply, to honor the gifts of others, and to allow divine timing to unfold. There will be disagreements, differences in pace, and moments where vision is tested. Yet, what sustains the collective is a foundation of respect, love, and shared purpose. You learn the art of collaboration, the dance of leading and following, the humility to serve, and the courage to step up when called. In this space, everyone grows. Weaknesses are balanced by the strengths of others, and everyone is held by the net of community. A remarkable transformation takes place in this phase, the shift from seeking to offering. Where once you longed for support and understanding, now you find yourself pouring into others, mentoring, uplifting, and blessing those just beginning their own journeys. You become a torchbearer, illuminating the way not just for your tribe, but for all who are drawn to your collective light. the abundance you generate spiritually, emotionally, even material overflows. There is always enough, because you have learned to give and receive in equal measure. Co-creation is also about shared healing. Deep wounds may rise to the surface as the tribe's collective shadow comes into the light. Old patterns of fear, scarcity, or mistrust may be triggered. But you now have the tools and the support to meet these moments with compassion and honesty. Healing circles, sacred conversations, and prayer become powerful medicines. The tribe becomes a sanctuary, a place where no one is left behind, where every soul is reminded of their worth and potential. Most importantly, sacred co-creation is your legacy. The projects you birth, the wisdom you share, and the love you model ripple outward, touching lives you may never meet. You become part of a living network of awakened souls, working together to usher in a new era of consciousness. This is how the prophecy is fulfilled, not by one, but by many. Your collective light becomes a beacon for a world in need. Chosen one, this is the promise of tribe. Together, you are greater than the sum of your parts. The time for lone wolves is over. Step boldly into the dance of sacred co-creation and watch as the world transforms around you. As the spirit of co-creation flourishes, something deeper begins to anchor your collective journey, a shared sense of sacred responsibility. You realize, chosen one, that your tribe is not just a circle of support or a cluster of aligned individuals. It is a spiritual assignment. Each of you has been called not merely to find healing and belonging, but to carry a torch of divine purpose into a world in desperate need of light. With this recognition comes both privilege and weight. The energy between you grows richer and more charged. There is a seriousness, now a holy gravity, that underpins your laughter, your rituals, your gatherings. You are not just friends, you are soul, contract holders, guardians of each other's growth, and keepers of the collective vision. You see that your gifts were given not only for your benefit, but for the elevation of all. Your choices ripple outward, affecting the tribe, the community, and the world beyond. This is the point where intention becomes sacred stewardship. Together, you feel the call to stand for truth, to defend the vulnerable, to speak for those whose voices have been silenced. You become aware that the darkness you once battled alone is a shadow many still struggle against. In your unity, you are given the authority to challenge these shadows, not with force, but with the unstoppable frequency of love, integrity, and wisdom. Whether you serve through art, healing, activism, teaching, or simple kindness, you understand that your actions are a living prayer, a service to the Most High, and a fulfillment of your collective mission. This sacred responsibility also requires vigilance. You recognize how easy it is for ego, division, or complacency to creep in. Old patterns of jealousy, competition, or distraction may try to undermine your harmony. But now, you know how to course correct. Regular times of reflection, honest conversations, and spiritual practices keep your hearts aligned and your vision clear. Accountability is not a burden, but a blessing, a sign that you are trusted to carry more. Together, as a tribe, you also become models for the greater community. Others watch you, sensing the difference in your energy, your resilience, your unity. Your presence is an invitation for others to seek their own alignment, to step into their own sacred responsibility. The way you honor each other, celebrate each other's wins, and gently correct one another's missteps becomes a blueprint for a new way of living and leading. Sometimes, the task will feel daunting. The suffering of the world can seem overwhelming. But take heart, chosen one. You were never meant to carry it all alone. The divine multiplies your efforts, just as your tribe multiplies your gifts. Together, you are a living answer to a world that has forgotten how powerful love and unity can be. Let your sacred responsibility guide your choices. Remember why you gathered, and let your collective mission fuel you through the inevitable challenges. You are not just a tribe for your own benefit. You are the light bearers, the way showers, the remnant called to usher in a new day. Carry your torch high, chosen ones. The world is watching, and the legacy you build together will outlive you, inspiring countless others to find their own tribe, awaken to their purpose, and join the great work of transformation. As your tribe deepens its sense of sacred responsibility, you will notice a powerful spiritual phenomenon mirrors everywhere. In the presence of your soul family, every part of you is reflected: your strengths, your dreams, your wounds, your shadows. Sometimes it's exhilarating, other times it's uncomfortable. This is the mirror effect, a divine mechanism designed to accelerate your growth and anchor your authenticity. It is one of the most challenging yet rewarding gifts of true tribe. You may find yourself triggered by someone's words or actions within your circle. Old insecurities, fears of abandonment, or wounds from childhood may surface with new intensity. At first, you might blame others or try to retreat, but soon you recognize the deeper lesson. These moments are not about rejection, but about revelation. Your tribe mirrors both your light and your shadow, so you can heal, integrate, and evolve. This process is rarely easy. It takes humility to admit when you're projecting, when you're reacting to an old pain rather than the present reality. But here, within your tribe, you have the safety to be honest. You can voice your fears without judgment, knowing that those around you have faced their own darkness. Vulnerability becomes the gateway to true transformation. As you own your stories and listen to those of others, mutual compassion grows. You learn to say, "This is my wound, but it does not define me. I am willing to see it and heal." The mirror effect also reveals your power. You witness the gifts of your tribe and realize that you too are capable of greatness. When a member steps into their purpose, you are inspired to rise. When someone overcomes an old pattern, it reminds you that you can do the same. The tribe becomes a hall of mirrors, each reflection an invitation to love yourself and others more deeply, to forgive, to let go, to rise again and again. Sometimes, the reflection will challenge you. You may see envy, judgment, or frustration staring back at you. Instead of turning away, use these moments as a sacred checkpoint. What does this emotion reveal about your next step in healing? What truth is being called forth? In the presence of true tribe, even conflict is holier, chance to clarify boundaries, to speak truth in love, and to strengthen your bond through honesty and repair. As this mirror work continues, you will discover a profound freedom. No longer weighed down by shame or the need to perform, you step into your relationships as your whole, unedited self. The tribe accepts you, not in spite of your flaws, but because your willingness to reveal them makes the circle stronger. Together, you become examples of what is possible when love is chosen over fear, when truth is valued over comfort, and when healing is embraced over hiding. This mirror effect is not just for the tribe's benefit. As you grow more integrated, your collective energy radiates outwards. Your authenticity becomes magnetic, drawing others into their own healing journeys. You become catalysts for transformation wherever you go, home, at work, in the world. Chosen one, embrace the mirrors. Celebrate the courage it takes to face your whole self. Each reflection is a step closer to wholeness, a sign that you and your tribe are growing not just together, but upward toward the highest expression of your souls. As the mirror effect works its magic within your tribe, you are invited into a rare and beautiful space, the sanctuary of unconditional belonging. For perhaps the first time, you realize that you are truly seen, not for what you can do, prove, or perform, but for who you actually are. Here, in this sacred circle, your vulnerability is not a liability. Your authenticity is not an inconvenience. Instead, they are the very qualities that anchor the group and make real intimacy possible. The feeling of belonging is more than comfort. It is transformation. It dissolves the old wounds of exile, loneliness, and not enough. No longer do you have to hustle for acceptance or edit yourself for approval. The tribe's embrace teaches you that your mere existence is worthy. There is a profound healing in being known fully and still loved fiercely. When you falter, you are met with compassion. When you triumph, your victories are multiplied in the celebration of many hearts. This sanctuary of belonging does not mean there is never disagreement or discomfort, but now, conflict is approached with honesty and respect, not as a threat, but as an invitation for deeper understanding. Here, mistakes are treated as opportunities for growth. Accountability is an act of love, not punishment. The tribe supports your evolution, holding space for you to change, to grieve, to risk, and to rise again. In this sanctuary, you rediscover the joy of giving and receiving, letting others hold you when you are weary, and standing strong for them in their own moments of need. You may notice too that this belonging nourishes more than your spirit. It feeds your creativity, your courage, your willingness to dream bigger. With the safety net of your tribe, you are freed from the fear of rejection that once haunted your steps. Your voice grows stronger, your visions more vivid, your intuition more reliable. You become bolder in sharing your message, your gifts, your light. Perhaps most powerful of all, this sanctuary rewrites your story. Where once you identified with the wounds of the outsider, you now claim your place as an insider, not because you have conformed, but because you have found your true home. The loneliness that used to echo through your soul is replaced by the hum of connection, the sweet song of acceptance that only true tribe can offer. This sanctuary is not exclusive, but expansive. As you settle into your place, you naturally invite others to do the same. The light of belonging is contagious. It reminds each soul it touches that they too have a place, a purpose, a people. Your tribe becomes a lighthouse in a world that is starved for real connection. Chosen one, receive this belonging with gratitude and humility. It is a sacred gift, hard-earned and divinely timed. Allow yourself to rest here, to be nourished, to flourish. For in this sanctuary, you not only find your tribe, you find yourself whole and holy at last. Now that you have tasted true belonging and the freedom to be your whole self, another dimension of your mission awakens, the calling to uplift, heal, and serve beyond your circle. Your tribe, once a sanctuary for your own transformation, now becomes a launchpad, a place from which your light extends further into the world. You begin to sense a higher orchestration at play, as if every wound healed, every gift discovered, and every lesson learned was preparing you for service on a greater stage. This shift is unmistakable. You notice a longing to contribute, to offer wisdom, comfort, or guidance to others who are still searching for their own tribe or struggling through the fires of awakening. Your empathy, sharpened by your own journey, recognizes pain in strangers, hope in unlikely places, and potential in those who doubt themselves. Your words begin to carry a new resonance, your presence, a new authority. It is not about ego or recognition, but about answering the deep, persistent call of your soul to make a difference. Often, you'll find yourself in situations where your insight or compassion is precisely what someone needs. You may be guided to share a story, offer a prayer, lend a listening ear, or even simply hold space in silence. These moments are never random. They are divinely orchestrated intersections where your path meets another's at just the right time. You become a bridge, a reminder, a living testament that healing, tribe, and belonging are possible. Service in this context does not mean self-sacrifice or burnout. The healthy, awakened tribe knows the importance of boundaries, self-care, and shared responsibility. You give from overflow, not depletion. The well of love and support you receive from your tribe ensures that you have more than enough to pour into the world around you. Your service becomes sustainable, joyful, and guided by spirit, not guilt or obligation. As your circle's light grows brighter, you attract those who are ready to step into their own awakening. Some may join your tribe, while others are simply touched by your presence and continue on their path with renewed hope. The impact of your tribe multiplies, becoming a ripple that extends through families, communities, and even generations. Your unity, authenticity, and courage serve as silent teachers, inspiring others to seek their own alignment and purpose. Remember, chosen one, the mission is never just about you or your immediate circle. The Most High has placed you and your tribe as pillars in a much larger tapestry of awakening souls across the earth. Your actions, both seen and unseen, matter. Your kindness, your integrity, your willingness to serve, all contribute to the rising tide of collective transformation. Let your service flow naturally, guided by intuition and love. You are part of something so much greater than yourself. The world is hungry for the medicine you carry, and the time to offer it is now. Move forward with confidence, knowing that every act of upliftment, every word of encouragement, and every gesture of healing helps fulfill the destiny you and your tribe were born for. Word count, 658. In this stage, a deeper layer of your spiritual assignment reveals itself, the call to anchor new frequencies on earth. Your tribe is not just a gathering of like-minded souls. You are conduits for a higher vibration, chosen to bring new possibilities into the collective field. The mission now is not just about individual growth or mutual support, but about radiating a frequency so pure and so high that it transforms every environment you touch. You'll begin to notice the subtle but profound effect your tribe has on the world around you. When you gather, whether in person or across distance, there's a tangible shift in the atmosphere. Creative inspiration flows more easily. Conflicts dissolve in the presence of love, and even those outside your circle feel uplifted simply by your presence. Your conversations become portals for new ideas, your prayers ripple outward as waves of healing, and your unified intentions attract synchronicities that defy explanation. This anchoring of frequency is not achieved through effort or force. It arises naturally from your authenticity, your alignment, and your willingness to embody truth, even when it's uncomfortable. The high vibration you carry is the result of all the healing, purifying, and refining you've walked through, both alone and with your tribe. Now, every interaction, every choice, every gathering is an act of spiritual stewardship. You may find yourself called to meditate for peace, to bless your community, to send healing to places of suffering, or to simply hold a vision of a better world. The old paradigm of isolation and scarcity is replaced by the energy of abundance and connection. You understand that what you do for yourself, you do for the whole. What you heal in your tribe, you offer as medicine for the world. Your frequency is contagious, and others begin to rise simply by being in your field. There will be times when the density of the world feels heavy, when you are confronted by fear, negativity, or resistance to change. In these moments, remember your role as an anchor. Do not be discouraged by the shadows that remain. Your task is to hold the vibration, to stay rooted in love, and to trust that your steady presence is creating openings for miracles. Your tribe becomes a lighthouse, not just for those who have already awakened, but for all who are seeking a way out of darkness. This work is subtle, but it is also revolutionary. Every time you gather, support each other, or choose higher ground, you are participating in the creation of a new reality. The earth is changing, and you are among those leading the shift, not with loud declarations, but with the quiet, persistent radiance of truth. Chosen one, honor this responsibility. Celebrate the beauty of what you and your tribe are anchoring. Let gratitude be your song and hope your compass. Know that every step you take, in alignment with your highest self, sends ripples of healing and awakening into the world. You are fulfilling a prophecy written before your birth. You are the bridge between what is and what can be. Shine on, anchor in, and trust the frequency you bring. The world is responding, even now. As your tribe continues to anchor these new frequencies, you may notice a powerful shift tone that pulls you deeper into your divine assignment. This is the phase of spiritual legacy. You begin to sense that your work together is not just for this moment, this season, or even this lifetime. The love, wisdom, and energy you cultivate will echo long after you are gone, woven into the fabric of generations to come. The tribe's legacy is built in both small, everyday acts and in great, collective endeavors. Every word of encouragement, every shared ritual, every courageous choice plants a seed. Some seeds will bloom quickly. Others will take time ripening in the lives of your children, your communities, and souls you may never meet. This is the true meaning of leaving a mark, not through fame or grand gestures, but through the daily decision to live in truth, to walk in love, and to serve with humility. You may begin to notice the wisdom keepers in your tribethos, whose journeys have given them deep wells of insight and compassion. They become storytellers, mentors, and spiritual elders, passing down the hard-earned lessons that will sustain the tribe for years to come. The younger or newer members, in turn, bring fresh energy, vision, and innovation. This cycle of giving and receiving, teaching and learning, creates a lineage of strength that cannot be broken. Legacy is also forged in the way your tribe handles its challenges. When disagreements arise, you model conscious communication and forgiveness. When one stumbles, you lift them up without shame. When the world tries to sow division, you choose unity. These are the moments that define not only your collective identity, but the story future generations will tell about you. The world may not always understand the depth of your bond, but your actions become a beacon for those who are searching for their own tribe. You may also be called to create tangible expressions of your legacy: books, art, gatherings, schools, healing centers, or outreach to those in need. These manifestations are not about ego, but about sharing your collective medicine with the world. The form your legacy takes is unique to your tribe's gifts and calling. Trust that the divine will guide you to the right opportunities and collaborations, opening doors you never imagined. Most importantly, legacy is about spiritual transmission. The frequency you anchor, the love you model, the truth you live, these are gifts that never die. You are living proof that tribes of light, healing, and purpose are possible. Your legacy is hope itself, reminder to all who come after you that it is possible to belong, to heal, to rise, and to serve together in joy. So, chosen one, take pride in the legacy you are building. Celebrate the milestones, cherish the stories, and honor the journey. Know that the ripples you send out today will bless lives for years, maybe centuries to come. This is why you found your tribe. This is why you were chosen. With the legacy of your tribe taking shape, there emerges a final, profound invitation to become a living embodiment of divine confirmation. This is the moment where all the wisdom, healing, and unity you have cultivated become not just ideas, but living truth made visible in the way you walk, speak, and show up in the world. You, chosen one, and your tribe are called to be proof that miracles are possible, that purpose is real, and that love truly transforms. As you move through daily life, you'll notice the shift. People are drawn to your presence. They sense something different, a steadiness, a peace, a radiance that can't be faked or taught in words alone. Without preaching or persuading, your very being becomes a message. Your integrity, your willingness to forgive, your joy in simple moments, your resilience in adversity become sacred testimony. You become a living answer to the questions so many quietly carry. Is there more to life? Can I heal? Will I ever find my people? Does my pain have a purpose? In your interactions at work, in your neighborhood, with strangers and loved ones, you are a channel for divine energy. Your kindness is medicine. Your honesty is liberation. Your willingness to see and affirm others breaks generational cycles of shame and self-doubt. Every time you choose to live as your truest self, every time your tribe gathers and uplifts one another, the invisible becomes visible. The energy in the room changes, burdens lift, hope awakens. Your presence validates what is sacred and possible in everyone you meet. This living confirmation isn't about perfection or always having the answers. You are still human. You'll stumble and learn. But you know, deep in your bones, that you carry a frequency of blessing, that the Most High moves through you, and that your life is a living prophecy fulfilled. You do not need to convince or convert. Your existence is the evidence. As you bless others with your light, you inspire them to seek their own tribe, to trust their own journey, and to claim their divine inheritance. You'll also notice that you are drawn to places and situations where your presence is needed, most not always the easiest, but always the most meaningful. Divine appointments abound. A word spoken in the right moment, a silent hug, a chance encounter that changes a life. The universe orchestrates these meetings, trusting you to be the messenger, the vessel, the lighthouse in someone else's storm. Most of all, living as divine confirmation means holding your head high, no matter what the world says. Your worth is not up for debate. Your path is not subject to the opinions of those who cannot see the vision. Stand tall in your knowing. Let the confirmation of your spirit radiate out, guiding others home. Chosen one, the time for wondering if you are enough is over. The time for questioning your place is finished. You and your tribe are living proof-embodied prayers, walking blessings, the answer to a world that aches for hope. Shine on. Your very life is confirmation that what is holy, whole, and true can exist here, now, in you. Chosen one, the circle is nearly complete, but the journey is only beginning. Feel the weight and wonder of this moment. You have traveled through loneliness, endured the crucible of awakening, braved the wilderness, and shed every layer that was not your true self. You have found your tribe not by accident, but by divine design, and together you have stepped into your shared destiny. Every trial has been a teacher. Every separation was preparation. Every ache in your soul was a compass guiding you here, to the sacred edge of a brand new era. Pause now, and let the magnitude of what you've become settle into your spirit. You are no longer the seeker wandering the shadows. You are the light bearer, the anchor, the living proof that prophecy is real. The world around you is shifting in response to your frequency. Encounters feel charged with meaning, doors open by synchronicity. Dreams once impossible are now inevitable. The atmosphere itself seems to respond to your presence. You are not just witnessing miracles, you are the miracle, multiplied by the unity of your tribe. In this final revelation, the Most High confirms what your heart has long suspected. Your time is now. There is no more shrinking, no more waiting for permission, no more doubting the call on your life. This is your divine appointment. The mission is clear, the tribe is assembled, the energy is surging. If you could see the impact of every choice you make, every word you speak, every act of love you offer, you would weep with awe and gratitude. You are the answer to prayers whispered for generations. You are the fulfillment of promises made before you ever drew breath. Let this be your daily affirmation. I am chosen, I am seen, I am sent. The light in me awakens the light in others. My tribe and I are the proof that the world is still sacred, that hope can rise from the ashes, that unity is not only possible but inevitable when souls answer the call. Stand tall, chosen one. Let your voice ring with truth. Let your steps be guided by faith, not fear. Let your love be the force that heals, uplifts, and transforms. And now, as you step across this threshold, know that the adventure has only just begun. Every day forward will bring new confirmations, deeper connection, and ever greater purpose. Your role will continue to expand. Your influence will ripple outward, touching lives you may never even meet. The tribe will grow, the mission will evolve, and the legacy will endure. Before you go, remember this final twist. The universe always has one more miracle, one more synchronicity, one more divine encounter, waiting just beyond what you can imagine. Stay open, stay expectant, and trust that every ending is a new beginning for those who walk the path of the chosen. May you be blessed, multiplied, and divinely guided at every step. Shine on, chosen one. World is watching, and your time is here.